In 2010, authorities were searching for Shannon Gilbert, a 23-year-old New Jersey woman who had gone missing on Long Island when they discovered the bodies of 4 women in burlap sacks 500 feet apart on Jones Beach Island, a barrier island on Long Island's south shore. Later it was determined that all 4 women, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25, Melissa Barthelemy, 24, Amber Lynn Costello, 27, and Megan Waterman, 22, had been strangled to death. Gilbert's body was discovered in 2011, along with the remains of 2 more women, a man and a female toddler, in the remote location between 2010 and 2011. Police have long believed that some of these cases were the work of a single serial killer, though it was unclear if these cases were connected in any way. The clarity the authorities had been looking for may have just come to light. Join us for the latest on the Long Island serial killings and the man police suspect of these gruesome murders. New York Suffolk County Police recently apprehended Rex Heuermann as a suspect in the 2010 and 2011 Gilgo Beach murders. Police arrested Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect and owner of RH Consultants and Associates on Fifth Avenue, at his residence in Massapequa Park, a short distance from where the victims were discovered. The Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force identified Heuermann as a suspect a year ago, but waited to make an arrest until they had concrete DNA evidence. This arrest marks the conclusion of a decade-long hunt for the brutal killer. While there are few known facts about Heuermann, new information is emerging that paints an insightful, albeit odd, portrait of this suspected serial killer. Heuermann is believed to be married with 2 children, and according to court documents, Heuermann most likely concealed his crimes from his family. Analysis of phone records reveals that Asa Ellerup, Heuermann's wife, was out of town during the 2009 and 2010 murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterhouse, and Amber Costello. Although Heuermann is a suspect in the 2007 murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, it is no longer possible to access phone records from that time. Residents of Heuermann's neighborhood are beginning to describe the suspect's life with Ellerup and their children in Massapequa Park. Rex's daughter, Victoria Heuermann, is an employee at her father's architecture firm, although a page listing the company's personnel has been removed from the website. A neighbor characterized Heuermann's stepson as having special needs, but little else is known about this child. Ellerup is known to have accompanied the children to the IGA grocery store every week for many years. Heuermann never joined them. Mary Salmari, the store manager, remarked that Ellerup appeared depressed and that the family always paid with food stamps, which was unusual for the area. The use of food stamps is also inconsistent with Heuermann's profession as an architect, with an office in Midtown Manhattan. According to the family's neighbors, they are reclusive, rarely interacting with their neighbors or receiving guests. The home they resided in was poorly maintained, and a neighbor remarked that Ellerup frequently appeared to have just rolled out of bed. One neighbor remarked, "We've walked past it for years, and I always ask myself, when is someone going to fix up that house?" Another neighbor said that Heuermann seemed like a regular neighbor and an average guy who had a family and went to work. Another neighbor said, "I have never seen anyone come out of that house." Rodney Harrison, the Suffolk County Police Commissioner, said that Heuermann's family was astonished when they learned of his alleged crimes. "They were disgusted. They were embarrassed," Harrison said. "So if you ask me, I don't believe they knew about this double life that Heuermann was living." Heuermann, an architect, is the proprietor of RH Consultants and Associates Incorporated, a Manhattan-based architecture firm that has worked with municipal agencies and clients, including Catholic Charities and American Airlines. Curious viewers can watch an interview with Heuermann on Bonjour Realty on YouTube. In the video, Heuermann demonstrates his in-depth professional knowledge of New York buildings by ecstatically describing how old building codes can be used to one's advantage. In the video, Heuermann characterizes himself as born and raised on Long Island, who has worked as an architect in Manhattan since 1987. Damian Richards, an employee of Heuermann's, was stunned to hear that his boss had been arrested in connection with the heinous crimes. Shocked, total shock. At first the shock of hearing of this, then obviously the next thing comes to my mind. What happens to my job and my family, he said. On his boss's personal nature, he added, I've never witnessed him be violent, but he gets aggravated. This industry is a roller coaster ride. In a 2011 profile of the then unknown killer, several experts and criminologists said, the women were probably killed by a white man in his mid-20s to mid-40s. He is married or has a girlfriend. He is well-educated and well-spoken. He is financially secure, has a job, owns an expensive car or truck, and lives or used to live near where the bodies were found. They weren't far off. How did Heuermann land on law enforcement's radar after all these years? Cell phones. According to public court documents, Heuermann is charged with first and second-degree murder. In the documents, all 4 women were characterized as sex workers who had contact shortly before their disappearance with a person using a burner cell phone and were discovered in close proximity, identically bound. Investigators homed in on Heuermann in 2022 as the prime suspect after a renewed effort to examine evidence from the case and the discovery of a vehicle an eyewitness had seen at the residence of one of the victims the day before their disappearance. The vehicle, a first-generation black Chevrolet Avalanche, was registered at the time of the murders to a Long Island man who matched a witness's physical description of a man seen soliciting the victim at her home. Investigators then subpoenaed cell phone data records that enabled them to link Heuermann to calls made to and from the victim's phones near his residence in Massapequa Park and his office in Midtown Manhattan. The women's own phones provided ominous clues to their fates, including a final cell tower signal near Heuermann's residence, a voicemail check by the expressway, and cruel calls made from near Heuermann's office to one victim's family members using her own phone. In their bail application, prosecutors released the following description of Melissa Barthelemy's cell phone data. On July 3, 2009, Ms. Barthelemy was contacted by a burner cell phone. Thereafter, the Barthelemy cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on July 6th, July 9th, and July 10th, 2009, which was the last day she was seen alive. On July 10, 2009, cell site records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. Later that evening, the Barthelemy cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Massapequa, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa on July 11, 2009, at approximately 1:43 a.m. On July 11, 2009, Ms. Barthelemy's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site located in Freeport. On July 11th and July 12th, 2009, the Barthelemy phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemail from cell site locations in Babylon. On July 17th, July 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, and August 26th, 2009, the Barthelemy phone made taunting phone calls to Ms. Barthelemy's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was a male and a relative of Melissa Barthelemy, in which the male caller admitted killing and sexually assaulting Ms. Barthelemy. The cell site locations of the Barthelemy phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. In one of these calls in July 2009, the caller asked Barthelemy's teenage sister, "Do you think you'll ever speak to her again?" When she replied that she hoped to speak to her sister again, he replied that he had killed her after having sex with her, then hung up. Google data also disclosed Heuermann's repeated searches for news about the case, such as, "Why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer?" and 8 terrifying active serial killers we can't find. He allegedly searched for podcasts about the murders and family photographs of the victims. Prosecutors have evidence that the alleged killer conducted thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic torture-related pornography, including porn involving girls aged 10 to 13 years old. With Heuermann in their crosshairs, investigators searched through his garbage for a DNA sample, eventually recovering the crust from a pizza box he discarded in Manhattan and comparing it to the DNA of a fragment of hair retrieved from one of the victims' corpses. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney stated, "Right now we have a flood of information and a flood of evidence coming in, and it's going to take us a while to sort of go through all of that." Heuermann reportedly leased storage units at 2 Amityville self-storage facilities, which were searched and their contents removed by law enforcement. They also seized evidence from the Midtown Manhattan office of Heuermann's architecture firm and have continued to take items from his Long Island residence. The search of his Massapequa Park home, according to a source, has largely been focused on forensics, but authorities are also looking for items that could be souvenirs from the killings, things that appear to be hidden or kept in such a way other family members would not have come across them. Among the items recovered from Heuermann's home, which Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison characterized as a very cluttered house, were between 200 and 300 firearms, including pistols, revolvers, and semi-automatic rifles that Heuermann stored in a vault in his basement. Although Heuermann appeared to be an ardent hunter, he was only authorized to own 92 firearms. Harrison said, "It's concerning regarding the guns being registered or legal or not. That's something we're still taking a look at. Anytime somebody has that type of arsenal, we have some concerns." The police have also been observed removing dozens of bizarre items from the residence, including a child-sized, fair-haired doll kept in a large wooden and glass case. Michael Brown, a defense attorney, told reporters that after his arrest, Heuermann sobbed in front of his attorneys and said, "I didn't do this." Brown has also issued a statement to the media highlighting his client's impeccable record. Rex Heuermann is 59 years old with no prior criminal history. He is a college graduate and is a hard-working licensed architect who has his own NYC firm. He is a loving husband to his wife of over 25 years and an involved and dedicated father to his daughter and stepson. He has entered a not guilty plea and has insisted he did not commit these crimes. There is nothing about Mr. Heuermann that would suggest he is involved in these incidents, and while the government has decided to focus on him despite more significant and stronger leads, we are looking forward to defending him in a court of law before a fair and impartial jury of his peers. Strangely enough, there is a celebrity spin on the arrest of Heuermann. Heuermann and backdraft actor Billy Baldwin attended the same high school in the late 1970s and early 1980s and were classmates. "Woke up this morning to learn that the Gilgo Beach serial killer suspect was my high school classmate, Rex Heuermann," Baldwin tweeted, describing the information as mind-boggling and saying that Massapequa is in shock. More skeletons will be coming out of the closet on this case, and Bad Things will keep you, our Bad Things crew, updated. If you love our content and want to support the channel, feel free to check our webshop where you can find exclusive true crime merch brought to you by Bad Things.